All right. I think we are live. Maybe we should wait a little bit so more people go into the YouTube stream because I think, yeah, us programmers, I think we are never on time. But yeah, as you can see, we don't only have the virtual game jam, we have a physical game jam here too, and it's like packed full of people here. They look like small kids, but they're actually adults. And yeah, this is the second time we have a game jam with Flame, and it was a lot of fun last time, and I'm sure it will be as much fun this time too. So yeah, let's just get started with the slides, and people can watch this later. Yeah, so a lot of people might not know who we are. So we are Bluefire, and we're an open source collective with 5 people, and we're spread out over 5 countries. I'm sitting in Sweden, and then we have Luan in Canada, and Eric in Brazil, and Henan in Portugal, and Jochum in Netherlands. So you can imagine how easy it is to plan meetings with those time zones. And yeah, we're just doing this for fun. It's just open source and free, and we don't get anything monetary from doing these packages. We have a Patreon, but all that money just goes to other fun things like this event, for example. And yeah, for this event, we have a lot of great sponsors. Like, it was so easy to get sponsors for this event. Anyone we asked, they were just straight on, like, okay, what do you need? What do you want? And some people wanted to give us so much money that we were like, we don't want to have that much prize money. It will be strange. so yeah, I'll present our sponsors. So there's no order of these sponsors. There's just alphabetical order because there's no like gold sponsor or something like that. They're all like on the same level. But yeah, first out we have AppWrite, and they are a really cool company building open source backends for any application. So if you later decide that you need a backend for your game, you could really check out AppWrite. They are really cool. And they will be sponsoring with gift cards for the top 5 teams, and and they're worth like $25 in their swag shop, which will be nice. And then we have Flutter themselves, or Google, and they will be sponsoring with T-shirts and Dash plushes for all of the top teams. And if you don't know about Dash, this is the mascot for Flutter. And yeah, the first time I saw this was one of our first FlameCons when Henan and Luan was playing around with those ones. And I hadn't actually seen it before. And I was like, why are they playing around with those Pokemon toys in the stream? but then I realized a bit later, like, that's Dash, the mascot of Flutter. So a lot of people will be winning those ones and T-shirts from Flutter. So that will be that will be really nice. And Flutter have also, like, they would love to see some of these promising games get published in the app stores. So I'm going to talk a little bit later about that about our After Jam event that we're going to do, because 3 days is quite short to get the game completely complete. You just want to get something done there. And our third sponsor is Invertase, and they're a really amazing company too, with a focus on open source. And they will be sponsoring with swag bags to the top 10 teams. So there will be some surprises coming there in the swag bags too. And then we have Sturdy Keep, which they also sponsored us last year on the Game Jam, if I remember correctly. And they're like a small group of people from Europe that loves game dev too, and they have actually even used Flame for some of their games, and they have sponsored us with some prize money too. And then we have a company that probably most people have heard about before if you're in the Flutter world, Very Good Ventures. And yeah, as like us, they are creating a lot of great open source packages for the Flutter community, and they are sponsoring us on like a monthly basis. And yeah, a lot of several of the core team are actually working at Very Good Ventures now too. So yeah, we're very happy to have the support from them and the support for the Game Jam. And now, what everyone has been waiting for, the theme of the Game Jam. So, to avoid getting people to be able to cheat on the Game Jam, to be able to make something in beforehand, the theme has been super secret. And the theme of this year's Game Jam is 1-bit style. And then you wonder, what the fuck is that? I had no idea, but because I don't know as much about games as I should, since like I'm making a game and I should be knowing things about games, but apparently I don't. But the rest of the people in the team explained it to me, and 1-bit style is when you only have 2 colors in your game. So like it doesn't have to be black and white like it is on this picture, but everything is supposed to be possible to represent with a 0 or a 1. Like, so you could have white and black, or like 2 different shades of green is quite popular. And yeah, you get some quite cool aesthetics from it. And after presenting the theme, we have actually not really a guest speaker since he's part of the core team, but I'm going to present Eric to you, who has made something that fits very well to this theme. So welcome, Eric. How are you today?
Hello, I'm a bit cold, but I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, I am the opposite, I would say. It's very warm with the computer and the light and all of these people in the background here. So, but I'm all good. I'm all good. I'll
Awesome.
let you start with your presentation.
Awesome. Yeah, so very nice to be here. Glad to be having a second game jam from Flame and so many sponsors, so many people. That's so exciting to see Flame growing that way. And I'm also super excited to be able to show a tool that I put so much love on the last past week, and which will fit so well in the team for this gen. And I really hope that everybody enjoys using the tool as much as I enjoy making it. If you want to pass the next slide, pardon, please. Lucas, please. Next sprite. Awesome. So, what is Mini Sprite? So, it's basically a tool that is focused on creating and designing one beach styled assets. So, it's not only about sprites, but also about like general assets. Right now, we have 2 tools in it: a sprite editor, like a pixel art thing, and a map editor, which is very much inspired by Tiled. If I guess if you develop games, you probably have heard about Tiled. We also have support for Tiled on Flame, so it's a little bit inspired. It's very simplified compared to Tiled, but it's heavily inspired by it. And it also bundles a hub or a library of free assets that you can use. People can do assets, share their assets with the community. The community can use for their games. Right now, this is not still open for people to submit because we're just releasing this. This is just in its very early stages, but there is already a few collection of assets there that you can use it. But I'm gonna also show this in action a little bit, very briefly. So let me share my screen so you can get a better sense of what is this mini sprite thing. All right, so If you can pull my screen, thank you. Oh, I shared the wrong screen, sorry. Okay. Now there's the correct one. All right, so also, so here is the tool. It's live, anybody can access. Right now we are just releasing the web version, but this is, I have been developing on the desktop environment, so eventually we will have native builds for this, for all three platforms. Right now you can already, if you want to run this natively, you can just clone the repository, run yourself, but as of official release, we're just enabling the web version, which you can access by minisprite.es, like minisprites. So here we're going to do a very small demo from the beginning to this running on a Flame game. So just do a small character. So I'm going to put this a little bit smaller. So here you can change, for example, your sprite size. I want to do a 8x8. And I'm gonna just do a small character thing here, very simple. We have a few tools like a brush, an eraser, a fill tool, so you can fill everything else. Let's do some eyes on this guy. And just someone very simple fellow. We can create a collection of sprites. So here I just start a library where we have your first sprite. Let's rename this. I'm gonna call it player. And I'm just gonna create a small block sprite for like a ground thing. Very simple too. Just let's change to the brush again. Let's do some details here. Awesome. So for now, that's what we need for a small map. And here, let's go and create our map. So I'm going to make this smaller because this is just an example. Just like this, what you can edit here. Let's just make like 4 height. Let's keep it 10 in with it. So this is a tiled base, like a grid thing. So every cell here has the value that's configured on the settings. Like you have 8 pixels wide cell, which matches our sprites. And here we can select the tile that we want to put on our map. Let's remove this grid to see this better. Just gonna make a small ground here and put our player. And we have a small map. So, okay, so how can I put this on a game, on a Flame game? There are two, here I have a project that I created previously with all the dependencies that we need. So here there's nothing complicated, just need the Flame dependency, Minisprite dependency, which is the core of the library, and the Flame Minisprite one, which is the bridge that takes that core Minisprite thing and adds Flame functionality to it. Awesome. So one of the cool things of Minisprite is that all of its files are just raw strings. So it's super easy to integrate them, to save them on a database if you want. And to get them from the tool to put in our game, you can just use, if I would like to just have this sprite, I could just use it here. And here I would have the source for the single sprite on my clipboard, but we want the full collection. So let's use this one. Going to our code, I'm going to create a very simple file here. What I'm going to call assets. I'm going to just put it here. Let's say map asset. And this is just a string, like I mentioned. So, oh, sorry, this is not the map. This is the library. And we'll do the same thing for the map. Let's grab the code here, map, same thing here. So just copy to clipboard, paste it here. All right, so cool. And now let's put this to run. So I'm gonna create my main file here. Just the bootstrap of the thing, run app. Create my class here first, my game. will just be a flame game, game widget, game, flame game. Let's import this stuff, material, and game. Awesome. So let's load our map. It's very simple to load that. So let's just override the onload method. And first thing we need to do is to get to pass that raw string to our model classes. So let's start that by the library. So I'm going to call mini library dot, here we go. And then our library asset, which we'll import from our asset file. And this is just you just load that raw string into this minimap class, which is the core of the game. But we want to render that on a flame game. So we can use the two sprites method, which we have to import from flame mini sprite. Let me import here flame mini sprite. True. Yeah, two sprites, and then this will receive a color. Oh, sorry, I added the wrong. Here's a mini library, not mini map. That's why now it's in the method. Cool. So my colors. This is the color of the pixel, and you pass a pixel size, which will just be one. You can pass like 2 or 3 if you want to make each of the pixel that we place it on the editor to be bigger if you want to make a bigger game or whatever have this possibility. But let's just put one. And this will return a map of sprites, which will be the key, will be the name that we have here, and the value will be a flame sprite instance. Awesome. So next thing to do is just to do the same thing for our map. So now we use map from map asset, and this will provide us a collection of objects, which is map position, which is the index of the object in the map, the index of the matrix of the grid, and a map of properties. So properties are, if I select this little guy here, we see what properties we have here. So this is a keyword, like a keyword for a mini sprite, for mini map, because every time you place a sprite from the library into the map, it already creates an object with this key. So this is the key of the sprite in our library with this player here. So let's just iterate over that over that map, entries, and then we can just take the sprite from our sprites map. It will be the entry dot value and our key sprite. Awesome. And then let's just, it's not needed here because all of objects have sprite, but usually we want to check if this object had a sprite, because we can, for example, let's say I want to create a special area somewhere. I could, for example, click here and just add a property like special, special place. And this would be a warp. Blah could be another map, like a secret area. So this object would not have an object. So just to be safe, let's just check if this is not null. And if it isn't, we can just add a sprite component to our game. For this sprite or sprite, then its position will be vector 2, where x will be our enter.key.x. And here I just multiply by 8 because we know our grid the size of the grid is 8 pixels, and we're creating these sprites for 1 pixel wide. So this is just a simple multiplication by 8. It's here. And the size of the component is just the size of the image itself, because again, we are using a 1 pixel per pixel, so it's 1 to 1 here. Sprite.image.grid to double, because vector 3 is a double. And here, hi. Cool. Just format this. Yeah, let's just add this some camera values here, so our game can be better centered, and we can see better our game. And let's just run it. And if I didn't do anything wrong, we should see that map that we created running on a Mac application. Oh, that's fine.
So you missed one little thing that they actually mentioned in the comments. You're initiating Flame Game instead of My Game on line 8.
Oh, I mean, something needs to go wrong on a live presentation, otherwise it's not fun, right? And there you go. We have our small game rendered based on all the data that we created here. Of course, this is super simple. Like in a real game, we will also need to not only add sprites, but also add behaviors. But like, for example, something like that could be done by, for example, adding another property here, like behavior, then keyboard movement, or something like that. And then on your game, you would check if that object has that property and add the class to control that, and so on. So it's very agnostic, so you can implement this any way you like. This is just a tool to help you design your levels in a visual way and in a simple way. And then on the game, on the code, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, really. And that's it from a small live presentation. This tool is very in its early stage. One part thing to mention is that you are not required to use Minisprite on the gen, but if you use, we appreciate any feedback, but you are free to use any editor, any assets, any whatever that you want. And that's it from me.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. That looks like a lot of fun to use, and I think it, especially for this theme, it will help a lot. I'll continue with the slides then. See you on the game here. Yeah, and like Eric said, you don't have to use Minisprites, but it might help you depending on what game you're building. And remember, you can use any tools and libraries out there as long as you use Flame in the core. And yeah, someone else asked again, I guess some people drop in late, what the topic is, and it is 1-bit game style, just like you can see here. Yeah, here are some resources. So I guess you can quite easily Google yourself to these resources, and I will put them in the comments later. Yeah, if you join our Discord channel, all of these links will be there too. So for the rules of the game jam. So first of all, you can join as a team, or you can be alone too. But you can maximum be 7 people in a team, and you can only join one team. And you have to submit the game on the itch.io website, so you should have to sign up there too. It's not too late to sign up. You can sign up at any time during the game, and the entry must include a web build that you have embedded on the itch.io site. We will have some. It's much easier than it sounds to do that. We will have some instructions for how to do that. Or you can also have an Android APK that you just upload there, so that we can play the games when we're gonna rate them. And the submission page should also include instructions of how to play the game and some screenshots. And all of the work that is done on the game, for it to not be disqualified, it has to be done during the game jam period. So from now until Sunday around the same time. Then for assets, you don't have to make all of your assets yourself, but all the assets that you use, they have to be royalty free, and they have to be available to the whole community. So make sure that you can share assets that you're using and credit them properly in the game, because the assets creators, they're putting down a lot of work on those ones, so they deserve all credit they can get. And packages. Right after the game jam, we will release version 1.3.0 of Flame. So you have to use that one, because that is one of the reasons that we have this game jam, to get some feedback on the newest Flame version. And you can use any other packages and libraries that you can find out there. Yeah, all entries must be open source, and it has to have a link to the game source code. So it could be, for example, GitHub or GitLab, or yeah, wherever you'd like. And it should be, the game should just contain like friendly content. It's not allowed to have like not suitable for work content, or sexual content, or nudity, excessive and extreme use of gore, violence, and not have like hateful content, like including violence and threats and discrimination against other people. For example, discrimination based on ethnicity, nation, caste, sexual orientation, gender identity, religion, age, disability, or diseases, or yeah, anything like that. You can read our code of conduct. It basically says, don't be an asshole, and you will do just fine. Yeah, and those were all the rules. And for the rating of all the games, we will rate the graphics, the audio, and the game design, and how well you're following the theme in your game. So that can be something that is good to think about. Oh, we have some more text here about it, actually. Yeah, and the graphics has a top score of 3, and okay, we haven't really filled this out. Anyways, these are the ratings that what we will look at. And another thing to get you started quickly with your Flame game is Ignite, which is a tool that you can use, that we have also developed, that just sets up the whole project for you. And you can do Flutter pub global activate Ignite CLI, and then you will download Ignite, and then you can do Ignite create, and you will get a little some options of what kind of template you want to use for your game, etc. So that can help you a bit, but you don't need to use it either. And also, we're going to release a new version of that right after the game jam. We just have to get in touch with Luan, the creator of Flame, but unfortunately he's working, so it's a little bit hard to get hold of him. And another thing that Invertase has built is an awesome tool called SUP. And if you have used Dartpad, it is a little bit like Dartpad, but like extremely much more powerful. It's like a browser IDE kind of, where you can do you can you don't even have to have an IDE installed on your computer. You can do everything through SUP, and you can run it through there. You can share code with others, and yeah, like compared to Dartpad, for example, which can't have assets or can't have any libraries, you can have anything you'd like here in SUP. So I really recommend trying that out. And if I remember correctly, Invertase has promised some special prizes for the people that put up their games on SUP. So that can be cool to have a look at. And talking about prizes, we will have 5 positions that will get monetary prizes. and the first one will get $200. The first team will get $200. Second team will get $100. Third one $75. Fourth one $50. Fifth one $25. And then, as I said earlier, we have a lot of these different swags that will be sent out. And we can take this question directly. Yes, if you want to get a good score on the theme, then it should be exactly 2 colors actually, because that is what the 1-bit style means. So it's a little bit challenging, but it's fun to try to get your type of aesthetics with that kind of restrictions. And the winners of the prizes and the glory and the fame, they will be announced on Thursday. So we have a few days to play through all the games and decide ratings and so on. And after the game jam, we'll have 2 weeks where we will support everyone that wants to finish up their games and get it up onto the stores. So yeah, this is a great time if you have never published anything on the store. This is a great time to get your first little game out there, which can be a lot of fun to show your friends with something that you've made. Because usually during just the weekend, it's a little bit too short to actually be able to finish it completely and have it completely stable. You just want to get something done since it's so tight on time. But then in the 2 weeks after, you can just polish it up and fix menus or things that you have not had time to do during the jam. And we will be in the Discord helping you with that. And I think actually the Flutter team will also support a bit on that. Yeah, and again, big thanks to all of our sponsors, Flutter and Very Good Ventures and AppWrite and Invertase and Sturdy Keep. And just since there are a lot of people coming in here and wondering what the theme is, it is 1-bit style, and this stream is recorded, so right after the stream is done, you can go back and look at the stream. Maybe you want to look at Eric's presentation again if you didn't catch everything about the mini sprite or something like that. And that's it. The game has started, and let's get ready to code. What do you think? And make audio and so. And if you haven't joined our Discord channel, join us there and have a great game jam. See you later, folks.
Cheers!